Hi guys, I'm just going to give it a minute for everybody to kind of join in and we are going to get this started. Hopefully somebody from earlier's YouTube live morning room took this trade. I did not personally. I just kind of set it up as a setup and left it there. So hopefully somebody took this trade and made some money on it. NVIDIA is just raging. This is a trade I did take and I got stopped out. So it's just raging. Okay, no problem. All right, guys. So this is going to be a very basic intro to futures. Paige, if you're here, type in a 1, please, in the chat pane. This was specifically requested by Paige, and I just wanted to kind of reach out and just kind of introduce you guys to what futures is. Futures trading is a lot of fun, guys. There is massive risk to reward ratio in there, which means you can lose a lot of money, but you can make a lot of money as well if you know what you're doing. So let's get started. All right, so there are a couple of tickers in the futures that I like to focus on. The first one is ES, of course. This is the E-mini futures current contract. Futures trade on a quarterly basis. So the current contract right now will expire in March, and you'll have to check with your broker when they expire. Not every broker has a different expiration date, but yeah, your broker has to give you an expiration date. They have to publish it. So you'll have to check with your broker when the contract expires. And then if you wanted to trade the next contract, which kind of makes no sense. I mean, really, you're not swing trading futures. And I'll tell you why. So it makes no sense for you to do the next contract. I would just stick to the current contract. And unlike options, where we call options contracts in equities, futures are a tiny little bit different. So here's our friend ES. Okay, now you would require, every broker requires a certain amount of money to be in your account when you're trading futures, because when you start a day trading futures, and let's say you're profitable, let's say you're profitable and you make about $500 trading futures. That day, at the end of the day, your broker will deposit that money in your account, whether you're still in this trade or not. It will just get deposited in your account. So for that reason, futures requires that you have, it's just like options trading. You can't trade options if you don't have that cash available in your account. You cannot trade options on unrealized gains. So if you were trading a stock while you were still in it and you were profitable, you can't just say, well, I'm up $1,000 in a stock. I'll just use that $1,000 gainage to trade options. It has to be liquid and has to be available in your account. So that's the way it trades. Now, what happens if you trade futures and you lose money on it and you still keep the contract? Well, in that case, if you're trading it the day off and you're losing, let's say you lost $500 on it, then your broker automatically will go into your account and take 500 out of it. So the closing happens the very same day. There's no realized or unrealized gains or losses. So for that reason, it just doesn't make sense for you to trade, really just doesn't make sense for you to trade futures as swings. You can do it though. There's nothing wrong with doing it. You absolutely could do it, but it's essentially closing one contract out and opening another one later, sort of thing. And at the end of your day. So what's the point of doing that? I rarely swing trade futures. So with that being said, let's get started. So if you can see my screen, and you'll see this ticker moving. So it goes in 25-cent increments. So you see 74.25, 75.50. It's moving in 24 cents increments. So I want you to, this is the simplest way that it's made sense to me. And it still resonates so well with me. It's the simplest thing ever. I want you to imagine a pizza pie. Sorry, my drawing skills are not up to the level, but oh well, we'll live with it. Imagine this is a perfect circle in a perfect world, and this is a pizza pie. Now, the whole pizza pie has 4 slices, and each slice is worth $12.50. Now, if it's $12.50 per slice, if I wanted to buy all 4 of these slices, if somebody could type it in the chat pane, how much would that cost me? I would be very grateful. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Okay, hi, Paige. Okay, so there's a lag in YouTube, and so I'm going to wait for you guys to put it in the chat pane. All right, I don't see any comments yet, but we'll go back to our drawing. Okay, so if I wanted to buy all 4 slices, essentially, all 4 slices would cost me $50. 50. We'll pretend like this is a perfect drawing. Okay, cool. So now with that being said, every time this moves from 43.75 to 43.76, it makes you $50. Every time it goes from 43.76 to 43.77, you're still up another $50. Now, if your entry was 75 and your target was 77, you'd be up $100 right now. Now, with that being said, each 25-cent increment now is worth $12.50. Now, one might say, well, that's a lot of risk. If I wanted to take a trade here and say, I want to place an entry over here for a bear trade and stop over here, that is a large risk at place, you know, at 17 points. If we were to say 20 points roughly for the whole number ease, that would be $1,000. That's a lot of money. And you know, you want to, trading is a game of probability. So you want to win a lot more than that too. So with that being said, you can trade MES. MES is the micro mini contract. And so this gives you the ease of trading futures or practicing futures with a lot less money. In this, for MES, the whole pizza is worth $5, and each tick is worth $1.25. For I know Thinkorswim, if you wanted to trade ES contracts, you would have to have about $12,000, but $12,000 or $13,000. I'm not too sure of the exact amount, but you would have to have that much money to be able to trade futures. For MES, if you wanted to trade MES, you would have to have about $1,200 in your account. Now, if your account is $1,200 or larger, you can freely trade futures and grow your account. So this is essentially a very good trading tool to know about. Futures are also not applicable to us in the US. We're applicable to the pattern day trading rule. It doesn't apply to futures. So you can day trade futures as much as you like without triggering the pattern day trading rule, which is basically you have to have $25,000 in your account before you can day trade. So if you make 3 round trips without $25,000 in your account, they'll flag your account as a pattern day trader. And then you'd get a flag put on your account, and your broker will ask you to stop trading or deposit more money. So anyway, futures are not subjected to pattern day trading rule. So then this, in a perfect world, is a perfect trading strategy, because this is how you can grow a very small account into a bigger one. Now, if you took, let's say, if you took a couple of trades over here and you made $50 every single day on MES contracts, you can get to a pretty decent level of an account size in no time. So this is a great tool to have in your basket and just kind of work with. If you are a new trader, you're new to futures trading in general. MES is one of them, one of the tickers. And then let's go look at another ticker right over here. This is the NQ. This is the NASDAQ futures. And if you take a look, this thing moves. Let's go to the daily so I can show you what the range is over here. It's a wild day out there in the market right now. Okay, cool. So the range on one of the big days was about 459 points. Let's say you caught the exact bottom and you sold the exact top. The odds of that happening are, you might as well win a lottery ticket. The odds of that happening are quite low, but let's say you did that. Qs are, the NQ futures are worth $20. So 20 times $460 is, let me just look that up. I'm going to calculate it real quick, guys. Is 9,180. 20 times 459 is 9,180. Well, there we go. That's how you can make life-changing money with the Qs, with the NQ futures. Granted, not every day is a 500-point day. Not every day, I mean, you know, we'll have smaller candles as well, and not every day you're going to catch the exact bottom and find the exact top. But I'm just trying to show you the potential in trading futures. You can really get pretty creative with trading futures. For NQ, I know in TD Ameritrade, you have to have about $17,000 or $18,000 in your account. So if your account's big enough to be able to handle a contract of NQ, then sure, you could trade that. But then we also have the option of MNQ. In here, just one second, real quick. Okay, same exact thing as the NQ. For this, you have to have about $1,800 in your account. If you caught the exact bottom over here and the exact top with $1,800 in your account and you closed it out, you would have made $900. You would have essentially made 50% of your account value in one day, just trading the NQ contract, MNQ contract. So the potential is really out there. If you're questioning whether you should be a futures trader, absolutely. If you're trying to grow your account, even if your account's large, if you're trying to grow your account, futures trading is the way to go. Another fun fact, which a lot of people get a kick out of, is that futures trade essentially 24/7. So from the time the market closes, which is 4 p.m., till 6 p.m., they take a little settlement break. But then it starts again at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time. They open back up. So if you're a busy mom like myself, or if you have a real daytime job and you can't be trading all day long, sitting in front of a screen, this is the way to go. This is where futures trading really takes off. And my team and I, we have a live futures room, and my team and I, we've determined a fantastic way to cut down on boring trading hours where the activity is not as crazy, and find the right trading hours. So for example, when India wakes up, it's 11 p.m. And then when the rest of the countries wake up, we see a spike, a bump, and then maybe a sell-off. So your setups play out a lot more when there is more activity, when there is more trading going on. Of course, nobody wants to trade after hours trading. If it's boring, if the candles are barely moving, it could really get a little bit boring. Over here, if you were sitting here all night watching this, it could get really boring. But I know a couple of you are here from Australia, and my friends, you guys have the perfect primo time for futures trading hours. So when it's my nighttime, it's your daytime, and it's tradable. And so it's definitely doable. So you have a real-time job and you're not trading isn't your full-time job, and you're not really trading the stock market as much, the equities market as much, then this is the way to go. You could make pretty decent amount of money. You could make your daily goal every single day, just trading futures. I'm going to check back and see if anybody has any questions. Do you guys have any questions so far? Just feel free to type it in the chat pane. We have a lag of about a minute. So when I'm saying something, you guys probably get it a minute later. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to just kind of catch up on questions. Okay. Don't see any questions yet. I will come back and circle back with you guys one more time again later on. Okay, so currently we're trading, let's say we're trading the MNQ. The rest of it really works just like stock trading. This is the bare basics of it. When we say a point is an entire dollar up. So let's say this is at 14,150 for the ease of the numbers. If it goes to 14,151 and you're in a bullish trade, you would make $20 over here. If it goes to 14,152, so 14,152, then you'd make $40, and that's it. Now a tick, NQ also has 4 slices in its pizza. If you look at GC, the gold futures, which is doing phenomenally well, guys. Let's go look at it on the daily chart. So this might have been a day trade. Hold on. Get these lines off so you guys can get a better idea. Okay, so a gold future contract has 10 slices in its pizza, and each slice is worth $10. So if this goes a whole dollar up, then you make $100. Simple as that, right? Now, gold has been breaking out of this beautiful pennant pattern, and my team, we've been planning on this forever. So I'm still waiting for a retest of this pennant pattern to look to get in. Although today seems like a pretty good day to look for a partial entry or maybe day trade tomorrow, gold futures. But anyway, so, and gold also has a MGC option. This is a good one to practice with because it's, you know, oh, sorry about that. Let's go to MGC futures, micro contracts. Okay, cool. This is a good one to practice with because in here, now the whole slice is, the whole pizza is worth $10 and each slice is worth $1. So every time it goes from 21.20 to 21.30, you'll make $1 if you're in it bullish. If it goes from 21.90 to 22, you made $1. So gold is a very easy way to get acquainted with futures. I do not recommend anybody trading futures that have no idea how to trade futures, just jump right in. I would say paper trade and see how they behave because, you know, as easy as it sounds, these moves can get pretty wild in no time. Let's see if we can go find a big candle. We have a lot of activity going on in the market right now. This is a big candle. It would wipe you out. It's a $6.80 candle. It would wipe you out immediately if you don't know what you're doing. So if you don't have a good idea of how futures trading works, I say just practice paper trade all the times. Let's go back to MNQ. I think a setup was setting up in there. Let's see if we can trade something together as a team and see how this behaves. Okay, all right, awesome. So on the Qs, we're still within the inside range of yesterday's candle. The way I like to trade my futures every morning is when I come in, I like to see what happened on the previous day. And then I like to put fibs on it. So I will put fibs on yesterday's candle from the bottom to the top. So I can figure out how realistically how low it's going to pull back to. It looks like we came pretty close to yesterday's low over here, but then we got bought back up. Now, as we can see, the 236 range is acting as a pretty massive resistance over here. So we're going to go back in. That gives me the confidence and says, okay, fine, we're a little bit weak in here. We're not really super strong. We're getting rejected at the 236 range right over here on the top. So what I want to do is set up a bear trade right into here, see if we can get filled below these tweezer bottoms. And it's odd because earlier in the live trading room, I set up a whole bunch of bear trades and not enough bull trades. And it's not because I'm actively looking for bear trades. It's just that those are the ones that are setting up that come forward. Okay, now that we've set this up, what we're going to do is determine where to take profits. Ideally, you should make 2 times the money you're risking. Correct. But if that's not always an option, if that isn't always going to play out, what is a good realistic target level? What is going to make you the most amount of money before it reversing? So what we're going to do is find a good level on the fibs. So I like to stick to the 50%, which is 1 level down from the 382, and the 618. Either one of those levels would work. 50%, there isn't much risk to reward on it. However, we could look to take a partial, or if it seems like a lot of strength is coming in at this level, then we could look to exit at this level, or move stops to break even to kind of just be safe about it. 618 usually tends to be the region where we bounce or get rejected off of. So 618 and the 50% levels are my absolute favorite to take profits on. If this was a usual day with no one talking, no political stuff going on in the background, what I would do is set up an entry. Let's say set up an entry over here on the fib levels. I would take profits 2 levels below. So 1 and 2 at the 618. Tends to work out pretty well. In my trading career, it's worked out pretty phenomenally well. So I would just kind of stick to that strategy and see how it plays out if you're practicing to trade futures, and just kind of getting the hang of it. If you're an advanced trader in the equities market or the options trader, advanced options trader, then this becomes fairly easy. It's pretty simple of an explanation. Then the rest of it is just like trading the regular stock market. I wouldn't really treat futures necessarily as the regular stock market because they do close out at the end of the day, and you could assume a lot of realized losses in no time, but you could still look to trade it the regular way. This is an MNQ contract, so if we got filled, let's say we got filled over here, if we got filled and we got stopped out, what is our range? Let me see. So 14,142, 14,225. So roughly about $80. 80 times 2 is 160. So that's it. You're going to lose $160 and you're going to be out of this trade. This is why I say try it with MNQ, and you can really make a lot of money with MNQ. Don't disregard it at all. If this was NQ, you would have lost 1,600 on it just based on this trade. And if we were to get stopped out, if we don't break even. So with that being said, I hope I answered all of your questions about what futures trading is in general. Does anybody have any questions, comments? And then we can go talk about something super cool, another fun topic. Let me go back to the YouTube page and see if you guys have any questions on it. Okay, I don't see any questions yet, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, so let's say you don't wanna risk your own money. Let's say you don't wanna do too much of futures trading. You just want to kind of day trade futures here and there. That's how essentially I trade, guys. I literally wake up at 7. Well, after I drop off the kids to school, I come home and I look at the market from 8 to 9 and hope to make my daily goal in futures. That's it, really. So it's a quick scalp, in and out sort of thing. It's not something that I'm looking to be in all day, every day. Let's say you don't want to risk your own money and you're not really, truly comfortable with it. Well, if you're a good trader, there are programs to do this, to get funded and do this as a funded trader program. So what I mean by that is there are prop firms like TopStep and Earn to Trade. I think my team and I were doing Earn to Trade together so we can all get funded, where they will test you for several days. And by test you, I mean they will ask you to take some trades on your own, and you have to pass a certain level of profits. You have to make a certain level of profits. And once you do that, they will fund your account. They will give you $50,000 or $100,000 to trade futures. That's it. Simple as that. And some may ask you to pay a monthly fee. Some may ask for something else. Clearly, there has to be something in there for them as well. So for a percentage of profit share, you can trade with their money. This becomes a lot easier now if you're trading futures with a funded trading program, pulling that money in, putting it in your long term, and trading stocks with your long term account. That's a phenomenal way to grow a small account. If day trading is for you and you like day trading a lot and you want to explore other avenues of income, this is a phenomenal way. I mean, you know, you don't have to put in a whole bunch of investment right off the bat. You're getting funded to trade. And so if you end up not passing their test, that essentially people usually end up passing their test. That essentially tells you that you need to work on your trading skills. So if you're a good trader, if you're a good day trader, and if you're a skilled one at that, funded trading program is the right way to go. I would highly recommend that. Sadly, there's not many funded trading programs for equities, for just regular stocks. But for futures, there happens to be a lot of companies that can help you with it. So that's one way to grow a very small account. Or if you want to if you're anything like me, I enjoy challenges a lot. So if you want to kind of take it as a challenge upon yourself and say, hey, I'm going to start a $3,000 account from my long-term holds and start to grow it and see how quickly it grows. This is a phenomenal way to do that. I get a kick out of growing small accounts. I always start my accounts from about $8,000 and then grow it. So I really enjoy that aspect, rather than having a really huge account with a lot of money in it, and then me being initially when I was a brand new trader and I didn't really understand trading as well, I thought I was just going to blow up the account. And so I didn't want too much funding in there to be able to blow up that much money. So anyway, moving on. That, my friends, essentially is what futures trading is. It's simple as that. Now, a lot of commodities, and if you want to, honestly, if you want to look and explore what really futures trading is and what these contracts mean and all of it. There was a beautiful TD Ameritrade Intro to Futures kind of course where they go in great depths of why futures were invented, why people trade futures, what it means, when does a contract settle, all of those things. There are commodities that can be traded on futures as well. Like, for example, crude oil is CL. So here's crude oil right now, trading on the 3-minute chart. You can trade corn, you can trade anything that you can think of, cotton. There is a gazillion things that you can trade, metals, precious metals, that you can come up with for futures trading. Now, here, we all know that there's a turmoil going on in the oil world right now. And we're trying really hard to keep the prices down. We're kind of extended from the 10 EMA. Maybe we could see a pullback. Maybe politically things would calm down a little bit and there'd be more peace in a few days. If that's the case, what do you think is going to happen to oil? It's going to go down for sure. We cannot sustain it at $108. So if that happens, here's your short shot trade. That's it. Short this. And you would have made decent amount of money. I don't trade crude oil as much, so I'm not familiar with the ticker CL just yet, or as much as I should be, but you can trade really anything you can come up with, you can trade on futures. And it's just a wonderful way. If you can foresee, for example, if we're going to have an amazing summer with good weather and corn is going to do fairly well this year, then you would trade corn futures. If there is inflation talks, and we know precious metals are a hedge against inflation, there's a reason why gold is obviously going up. And you can foresee these things happening. You can clearly swing trade futures contracts as well. I would recommend doing it with the smaller amount. So I would recommend swing trading MNQ versus NQ, or MGC versus GC. But you can certainly do that. I have a friend who's been bearish on the Qs for a very long time, and he's still in his swing trade. So his entry probably was somewhere in this range when this happened, or maybe when this hammer happened. I don't really remember specifically right now, but he said he's not going to exit until we get to 12,800. And he's been swing trading this stuff on MNQ, of course, but that's definitely doable. Again, I don't know where stop loss is, whatever, but I do know people that swing trade as well. That's the whole point of this conversation. So that's essentially what futures trading is. I will post a link to TD Ameritrade's intro videos that go into great detail. If you're a person that likes to dissect a whole bunch, so I know what they are, but I just don't think that it's worth us spending another 2 hours just discussing why futures were invented. So you can go in and kind of dissect and watch it at your own pace. But this is how, my friends, we trade futures. I have a futures live room. If you guys want to come check it out, come find us on our website, where we take trades together. For example, this one that's setting up right now, I don't know if we got stopped out on it or not, but if it works, it works. We take trades together at between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we look to make our money on most days. I want to say we get to our target pretty quickly. Some days obviously are much more trickier than others, and there's just no saying around it. You can't beat the market. So yeah, but I hope I answered all your questions and this was informative. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? All right, no questions I see. Great. Okay, if everyone's great on this, I'm going to go sign off here, so look for some day trades. Paige says, awesome, great. Okay, cool. Paige, so I want you to know, because you said that you are fairly new to trading futures, I want you to know that every ticker has its own pizza and its own slices. Sometimes slices differ and they're different in sizes. So sometimes something can have 10 slices. And if you go to, so for example, if you use TD Ameritrade or Interactive Broker, you can go to their website and they'll tell you how many slices there are in each pizza and how much the whole pizza is worth. That's it. Once you figure that out, you trade it just like the rest of the stock market. That's it. It's simple as that. So if you think futures are some foreign concept that's super complicated, really it's not. It's a lot of fun, and how amazing is it to just get to your target in the middle of the night? Let's say you had a pretty crazy day trading, and you got stopped out of a lot of trades, or you had a pretty bad swing trading day. Or here's another fun fact, guys. Okay, now that we're talking about it, might as well tell you guys about this. Okay, let's say you have a lot of stocks in the Qs, the NASDAQ index. So let's say you're heavily invested in the NASDAQ stock, the QQQ, or you have a lot of tech stocks that are part of NASDAQ. Now, you see that futures are trading pretty low. They're breaking key points overnight, and that tomorrow we're going to wake up with a big drop. So then what do? You go in and you short futures, you make up, or at least hope to make up, some of your losses that you're going to wake up with in your portfolio tomorrow. Let's say you're very Tesla and Apple heavy in your portfolio. Those are your two biggest holdings. If anybody took this trade, guys, I would move stops pretty quickly. I don't want these tweezer tops to get taken out. And it seems like we're doing that right now. So I wouldn't really be in this trade for too long now. Okay, going back. So let's say you're very tech heavy in your portfolio, and you're going to wake up to a pretty big loss. I'll give you an example. There was a time when President Trump would tweet something after the market closed at 4 p.m. and the entire futures market would collapse because there was trade wars going on. And not to get too technical about that, but it would have a direct effect on the market. Everybody knew that they're going to wake up to a big loss, except for our futures trading room. We would get together and make up those losses as a short on futures. So in the evening, if you've made up some of those losses, then you're looking at not a brutal day at opening on your long-term holds or on your portfolio. That's a fun way to hedge your account. Also, on day-to-day trading. I don't personally use it for that, but that is a wonderful tool. You should have this. You should have this knowledge to trade futures in your tool basket. So that's all I wanted to let you guys know. All right, cool. I see no other questions. Jenny says it is the middle of the night. I know you guys are in Australia. Oh my goodness. Well, I will let you guys go. And I will see you guys tomorrow in our futures room. Until then, I'm just going to sign off and hopefully look for more day trades that I could post in our Slack channel. Goodbye, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for making it out there so late.